Let's get started. So I'm Chris. This is Zach, and we'll be kind of going through the AMA with you today. So, what kind of got everything started? Do you want to give like a little introduction for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a standard flow that I kind of follow for when I'm sharing with new communities and whatnot. But my name is Joshua Hood. I'm the co-CEO of Parrotly Finance Incorporated, and I am one of three co-founders. Kind of the brainchild of this, and then I have two individuals who help a lot with just the flow of the corporation and the technology side of things. I'll get to that, like our team here, kind of near the end. Um, so, what is Parrotly Finance? We are seeking to solve a problem. There's a problem right now that's restricting crypto's growth in real world applications, right? So, crypto as a whole reached a 2.8 trillion market cap in November of 2021, which put it on par with Apple and bigger than Microsoft. But there's a lot of regulating bodies and government institutions that are trying to control crypto's growth, right? It kind of is a threat to the established financial system. Meanwhile, you have individuals of the world, you, me, Jerry, who are wanting to have that broader adoption. But the problem is, corporations and businesses don't have a way to manage crypto assets, which kind of hampers that broader adoption. Now, how do we fit into this territory? Parity Finance's mission is to fill that void and bridge the gaps that currently exist between decentralized crypto usage and the centralization needed for large businesses and corporations. We strive to reduce the learning curve needed to be able to partake in the budding crypto space, allowing the masses to embrace the change. Our goal is to capture market share of this emerging necessity for corporations and businesses alike to enter the world of crypto. So, how we're doing that? We have two things out right now. We have the NFT. You can see that in my profile picture right there, and I'm actually going to be giving away an NFT to members of your community during at the end of this AMA. So we released an NFT series. There's only 3,000 of them. That's kind of an exclusive club, and it provides members who have this NFT exclusive real world benefits and discounts with Parrotly Finance's partners to test pilot alternative utility cases for NFTs. So, what we do with that is any company that onboards into our Flock wallet or into our services and systems is required to provide a benefit to those FSC members. So our NFT is called Flocker Social Club. Yes, there's a bit of wordplay there. But yeah, so FSC for short, FSC members. Um, so right now we have our pilot partner, Room 101, and they provide a 20% standing discount on all of their jewelry products to FSC members, and they ship internationally. They have also agreed to, as a pilot partner, once we complete the business side of the Flock wallet, to accept our token, PBERB, as payment for their real world goods. So, how are we going to do this and make that bridge? So, we are a registered C Corp in Delaware. So, we're a registered US corporation. And this gives us the proper foundation to be able to follow all the rules and regulations laid forth by the Security Exchange Commission, the business laws, financial laws. It will be able to file the proper paperwork to actually have the right foundation, because DeFi projects don't generally have access to that, right? They start off as a DeFi project. They say things like, oh, invest in our token, buy now. And unfortunately, simply by saying that, they've immediately cut themselves off at the knees. They're now in violation of the Security Exchange Commission's definitions of what a security is. So you'll never see us say things like that, right? Like I can't tell people, oh, we're going to do XYZ and it's going to give you ABC. That's we have rules and regulations we need to follow.
Hmm.
So with this foundation, we're creating the Flock wallet. And I'll get to that in just a second. First, I want to talk about the token that we recently released. We launched 2 weeks and 1 day ago. Our token is fully DeFi. We actually did not retain any of the supply. We set aside 5% for providing liquidity to central exchanges and decentralized exchanges, but everything else is on the market. Like if you look at our liquidity versus market cap, it's an extremely high ratio. Um, so this token will serve as the native currency used in Parrotly Finance's products and services. PBERB, which is our token, is a deflationary cryptocurrency. It burns 2% of every sell transaction to reduce its supply over time. There was no reserve for developers. I had to buy my own tokens. The entire supply has been released to the public, and we burnt 65% of our LP tokens. The other 35% was not burnt because we're going to be utilizing quantum liquidity through Sphere Finance, which, if you're
Hmm.
unfamiliar with that, it's what they have this system called quantum liquidity that actually farms the Matic side of your pool, which increases the amount of Matic in your liquidity pool while still being available for transactions. So that will grow our liquidity pool while our token is actually slowly burning off its supply. And we call that equilibrium tokenomics. And we're letting 50% of the supply burn itself off over time through transactional volume. The reason for this is we want to create a true backed token, transactional token. That way, it's not prone to high periods of volatility. Because like all DeFi projects, when they have a very small liquidity pool compared to the rest of their actual supply, they face a lot of volatility because their liquidity pool is
Hmm.
small. We're going to be burning it so that our liquidity pool will actually be 2 times the value of our actual market cap. Market
Interesting.
market cap's not important. A lot of people look at a market cap of a token, but here's the thing: I could go out and in 5 minutes make you a $5 billion market cap on a token, right? It's very simple, because market cap is simply token price times total supply, right? But if your liquidity pool is I pair one token to one Matic, and then I have 5 billion circulating supply, poof, my market cap's 5 billion, right? So liquidity is infinitely more important. And I challenge all of you listening to, when you look at a project, I want you to look at the ratio of what percentage of their total market cap is there actually in liquidity. And I think you'd be surprised to see how small percentage wise most projects run their liquidity pool in comparison. And that's why they have such high volatility. They have a very small liquidity pool, but they have this really high market cap. This 100 million, $200 million market cap or whatever, and it's not accurate, and it's not what you should
Hmm.
be looking at. The token is actually going to, or actually no, I'll talk about the Flock wallet now because that's what you guys want to know about, I assume. So the Flock wallet is a proprietary cryptocurrency wallet that's unlike any other available DeFi crypto wallet. And what I mean by that is there's two sides to it. There's a personal side and a business side, and you can select which side you're creating an account for. But the business side combines the benefits and structure of traditional bank accounts with the innovation of DeFi wallets to cater to large businesses and organizations requiring the functionality of a standard business bank account. Features like KYC, multiple tiers of authorization, multiple users being able to assign to one wallet, accounting tools. So a business, just to put this to example, let's say you are the head of marketing for company A, right? And company A has a bank account set up for the marketing department that they can send funds to. And then you, as the head of marketing, you can, pay this invoice, wire money to, these influencers. You can do all of that quickly as in real time business pace, without having to wait for other users to log on to approve a Gnosis transaction, right? But the difference is in the bank account, they can set what your authorization tier is, right? How much you're able to spend of the funds. So you might have 100% authorization for your marketing account. The guy under you might have, like a $1,500 a day authorization limit. Meanwhile, Jerry over in accounting's got like $100 authorization limit just to take people out to lunch or something, right? He doesn't need to
Hmm.
have a whole lot. So our Flock wallet will actually, you'll be able to set different tiers of authorization for employees in your business. And every transaction is logged in an auditable accounting software system. And this provides reports to you every quarter to integrate with your business's, tax softwares that you're using. If you're a smaller business and you're using like QuickBooks or something, you'd be able to export it into that, um, which is a lot easier for you come tax time. And it provides that accountability, showing which user spent which, sent where. So it gives you the speed necessary for a business, but with the security of a traditional bank account, right? Um, Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, you're good.
Okay. But yeah, so there's more features that are going to be implemented to that, but we're not releasing the details on it until closer to completion. So the personal side of the Flock wallet, which is what traditional users like you and I would be using, it's similar to what you're currently used to, but with a lot more features. You're going to be able to import multiple seed phrases into one wallet. I know right now with MetaMask, I have to use like 18 different instances of Chrome, each with their own seed phrase and then flip back and forth between them, right? But with the Flock wallet, you'll be able to import multiple seed phrases. It is non-custodial, so you're not having to worry about us, keeping your info secure, right? It's similar to MetaMask in the fact that it's stored on your device, encrypted, of course. But so yeah, you'll be able to import multiple seed phrases, tab back and forth between them right there in that one interface. It'll automatically have most popular chains already in there, so you're not going to have to go through and add them all the time. It'll have like stable coins across the different chains pre-populated for you. I know when I'm bridging from one chain to another, I got to go look up what the contract is for that stable coin on that one and then add it myself, right? This will do it automatically. It has a lot of those ease of use features. It'll have an integrated DEX aggregator, so you can buy across different chains easily right there within the wallet with ramp functionality. Ramp is similar to MoonPay. If you're not familiar with it, you can perform KYC and then purchase directly with a credit or debit card. And that's part of breaking down the barriers for new people to get into the crypto space. Like my dad, he's in his late 50s, right? And he's interested in crypto because everyone's talking about it. But I know it's a personal nightmare for me to try to walk him through how to actually get money into crypto. And then, so our Flock wallet is going to make that simple. It's going to make it easy. No more, oh, how do I swap this? What do you mean I got to go to a DEX? What's a DEX, right? It'll be simple.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
one of the things that we've talked the most about, just the ease of access, the ease of use with crypto is really the bar to entry. So once that starts kind of becoming the norm, the markets are going to be flooded with new investors.
exactly. And the way I see it, right now, it is such a steep learning curve, and there's people falling for scams and everything like that all the
Hmm.
time. Like there are safety features planned for this for the Flock wallet, right? Such as the Dust Shield. and a risk check. So there's those safety features because I've been in crypto for quite some time now, and I see the pitfalls that are very easy for a lot of people to fall into. So we're keeping all of that in mind as we're developing this. We want it to have all the functionalities necessary for advanced crypto users with the ease of access functionalities for new crypto users.
Hmm.
And we're going
I
to have
really,
a, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say I really like the whole idea behind the wallet though, because I mean you have kind of that mixed benefit of both the tradition and business, and then also the benefits that DeFi, and just crypto does. Like it does have its own, especially with the technology behind it, on like transfer time and limits and things like that. So I really like the idea behind the wallet because I was not aware that it was gonna have that mixture of both.
Yeah, yeah, it's because all of us come from a business background,
Hmm.
and when I talk about the team, you'll get to hear a bit about that. So we all are aware of the business needs that DeFi is not meeting right now, and
Hmm.
that's what's keeping businesses and corporations from moving into DeFi. And sure, you have intermediary companies like I think it's called Stripe, where you can send them Bitcoin and then they'll sell it and then send the fiat to the business, right? But that's clunky. It doesn't do what you want it to do, right?
Hmm.
And with the Flock wallet, businesses will be able to accept crypto, plain and simple. And if they want to only accept like blue chip cryptos, you would still be able to pay with, to those businesses. You would be able to send them payments with, whatever altcoin you have because our system with the built-in aggregator would automatically convert it to whatever crypto, like blue chip ones, the business is going to accept. So any
Gotcha.
crypto.
Yeah, you could just throw it in there and then it automatically like exchanges it.
Yep, exactly.
Wow.
Um,
That's big. That will be big, especially as more people find out about it.
Yeah, and see, right now we're kind of flying under the radar, pardon the
Hmm.
pun, because we want to establish, and we have very well so far. Like even in this recent market downturn, our community has stayed very positive, right? I haven't seen anybody
Hmm.
come in and FUD, because they're educated, they know what we're working towards, they know what we're building, and so they're not worried about a downturn, right?
Hmm.
If anything, they're looking to scoop up more. But so we're releasing a beta of the core wallet for the Flock wallet, and it's going to be for the personal side, and that's targeted for releasing Q4 of this year. And then we're going to incrementally roll out additional features and functionality and segmented upgrades, bringing a truly unique product to businesses and individuals alike. So all the features, like the ease of use features and whatnot that the businesses are going to have, are first going to be available to individuals on the personal side. Like you will have access to those accounting reports, right, as an individual. And that's not we're not going to charge for that. It's the
Hmm.
businesses that get charged for that. So come tax
Okay.
time, instead of having to try to track all your stuff or use one of those um, the good ones that actually charge you money to give you those reports, you'd be able to do it right there in the Flock
Hmm.
wallet.
That's
Um,
that's really helpful. That's going to attract a lot of just retail investors too, because I mean, outside of business, everyone's gonna. I mean, you get a lot for not having to pay.
right, right, and you're going to be able to import like your current MetaMask wallet or your current
Hmm.
Trust wallet into the Flock wallet, so it makes it very
Hmm.
easy to switch. And the beta version of our Flock wallet is going to be launching with a really cool proprietary feature that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. Like I can't wait until I can, but because of how competitive DeFi
Hmm.
space is, if we were to talk about it now, someone would steal it before. Every time we onboard a new developer, because we have all in-house people, but
Hmm.
every time we onboard a new developer and I have them sign the NDA and I tell them what that proprietary feature is, they kind of go speechless for a second and say, "Oh my God, this is exactly what crypto needs. Why has no one done this?" So we're pretty
Yeah,
excited about it.
that
Um,
sounds big. That sounds really big. I'm excited to hear about it whenever it does come out.
Yeah, yeah. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be able to start telling you guys about that when we're about 60% complete, because at that point we already have enough of a head start, and we'll
Hmm.
have the code that we have to write for it uh, filed under intellectual property trademarks.
Hmm.
Because it's not open source since it hasn't been done yet. So we're going to keep that closed source and we're going to file an IP on it. That way
Okay.
we can capture the market share. And if anyone needs to use this feature, they have to go through us.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Um, yeah, yeah. And in one last thing to talk about the Flock wallet, and then I'll tell you guys about the team, and then I'll move to questions. But the one of the future updates, not the first or the second. I believe it's slated for the third update. But Parrotly Finance is looking at integrating into the Flock wallet validator nodes for the Polygon network. We're looking at creating the server farms necessary, um, putting up the Matic, and then hosting our own validator node for Polygon. And then users, individuals in the Flock wallet, will be able to take their PBER and Matic, and they'll be able to become delegators, also processing, since Polygon is proof of stake, processing those transactions on the Polygon network without impermanent loss and earning from the fees, which we think is pretty awesome because, then that provides a really cool utility for PBER, our token, and it will allow users and businesses that are stashing money in the Flock wallet to earn from those fees. So their money's not just sitting there.
That's some really interesting utility.
Yep.
I
And
feel
that's
like
called,
I, sorry,
go
go
ahead.
for it.
Oh, I was just going to say that's called the nesting protocol.
Perfect. I love the bird theme around the Discord and your project.
Oh, um, but yeah, you were about to say something.
No, I can't exactly remember. It was something just spur of the moment, but I do really like the fact that you guys have so many new innovative things that are, kind of coming that are going to actually bring utility. I know we talk about this a lot, but utility I think is that one of those big things missing from a lot of projects that, one, there's like no use case at all, or it's just a replicate like a it's just a replicated thing that, every project is starting to add in. So I do like the
Yep.
fact that you guys are bringing in a lot of stuff that is not that it is brand new and it actually has some use case. It's like, oh, this is actually something that crypto needs, and we're talking about it, and we know it's what it needs. People know that crypto needs this, but no one is really, or not a lot of people, I should say, are trying to address those issues.
Well, it's difficult for a lot of projects to address it because they don't have the correct foundation, right?
Hmm.
They didn't go and make a corporation. They didn't follow the rules and regulations. Because without having a business entity, you can't sign any of those business and service agreements, right? And
Hmm.
and legitimate business is not going to utilize your product or your service if they can't sign some form of agreement, right? That's
Yeah.
just how business works. So we wanted to make sure we had the correct foundation set up prior to beginning this journey. That way we could actually expand into the areas we're trying to expand into. But yeah, so a little bit about the team, and then I'll move on over to questions. I haven't even looked at the questions yet, so I'll check those out here in a second. But so we have a two CEO structure, right? I am a CEO and Ezekiel is a CEO, so we're co-CEOs. But this is a rare benefit that allows us to tackle different aspects within our area of expertise and ensure that we can keep up with the fast-paced crypto sector while still meeting all legal requirements of a registered corporation, right? So we can each focus on different aspects of it and not be overwhelmed, right?
Hmm.
So I'm Joshua, co-CEO. I have over a decade and a half experience in running real world businesses. I entered the crypto world about 9 years ago, which crypto time
Wow.
moves at a much faster speed. So I'm quite experienced in, watching crypto's growth, where it's going, and I can see its ultimate use case. And so that's why I came up with Parrotly and decided that this is what we needed to do, right? I handle all the outreach and networking, as well as the financial flow of the corporation and partnership discovery in both the crypto space and the real world, as well as future project and product planning. Ezekiel, he is my co-CEO. He has over 9 years of project and program management for the U.S. Air Force. He has experience in running multiple projects and programs with assets worth of over $1 billion, as well as participating in the vetting process for startups that were seeking U.S. Air Force funding. So he's very familiar with the process of tech startups, business startups, entering that space, all the legalities. So he's kind of my kind of the legal side of things there, right? Making sure we're following all the rules and doing everything properly. He
Hmm.
handles strategic business operations, and he helps me with future project plannings. Then we have Matthew. He's our CTO. He has over 15 years of experience working in technology, spanning across multiple roles, including but not limited to developer, solution and enterprise architect, and DevOps for mid-sized companies. He's also certified in cloud architecture and security automation. He handles the technology and product development and oversees the multiple developers that we have working for Parrotly. Our product development team is all in-house. We're not, you know, subcontracting out or outsourcing to developers in other countries or anything like that. It's
Hmm.
all in-house. We actually just recently hired three more developers because we're kicking now that we've got our token launch. We're kicking into development for the Flock wallet now. We have a marketing coordinator. We actually have a certified NFT consultant who works with us on the NFT side of things. We have a front end developer with over a decade of experience. He's a senior level front end developer. We have a dedicated UI UX designer and developer with over 9 years of experience. We also work with some junior and senior developers that we have contract relationships with, in addition to expanding our in house team. And we're working with a marketing firm right now with our marketing coordinator for marketing outreaches and utilizing their resources. So that's that's us, and that's what we're working towards.
You guys have quite a team. How many is that, all in all?
Oh, let me run a mental tally real quick. 10 people currently.
Okay, 10 in-house.
Yep, 10 in
Okay,
house.
gotcha. And
Yes,
then
sir.
you're actively looking for more devs. Is that what you had
Yeah,
said?
yeah,
Okay.
we're always exploring exploring more devs. We're mainly looking for a good Solidity dev right now because our CTO, who did a lot of the Solidity development for us, he needs to now be able to focus on overseeing the development of the Flock wallet. So we're looking for a Solidity dev to handle um, one of our consulting services that we're going to be launching shortly. We do actually have the capability because we wrote and audited. Oh, and that's the other thing. All of our contracts, like for the token and the ICO, were audited both prior to and post deployment because security is a big thing for us. We don't launch it and then
Hmm.
audit it later because you can't fix it at that point, right?
Yeah,
Um,
kind of the
but
issue with
we
smart contracts.
Yeah, yeah. And we actually have the capability. We're not doing it yet, but because of the ICO contract that we wrote, we have the capability to actually offer that as a service. So we're
Hmm.
looking at offering um, what I'm probably going to call the flight protocol, which will allow projects to take flight and do their ICOs through our systems. So. All right, I see some questions here. What are your marketing plans? How do you plan on promoting your project in a way that demonstrates how innovative your project really is to catch more eyes? I like that question. So, our marketing plans currently, So as for like the token and whatnot, we are working with our marketing firm to basically reach out to some influencers in the YouTube as well as the TikTok space. Ezekiel didn't want to even discuss TikTok. I'm like, look, you're old. TikTok is new. Okay, we need to actually pay attention to that. But so we're kind of targeting a bit of the influencer space right now for that. Those I believe go live next week. And we're focusing mostly on AMAs, reaching out to core educated communities, and kind of doing some networking there um, to get that core group of educated individuals before all of the meme apers start, hopping in, right? Because you want to have that core group of people who know what the project's about. For marketing the Flock wallet, um, honestly, because of the proprietary feature that's coming out in the beta version, I, I can't tell you the why, but I can tell you the result. The result is projects are going to need to use it. Um, they're, oh, I'm trying not to talk myself into a corner here, or say things I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But if they want to be able to provide real world utility for their projects, they're going to need to use the Flock wallet. There's no way around it. So as like right now, any project on Polygon, they're always asked by people, hey, are you guys going to be using quantum liquidity? Because everybody knows if you want to grow your Matic side pool to grow your liquidity, you got to go through Sphere, right? And use their quantum liquidity
Mm,
service. And when we release the Flock wallet, the question is, yo, are you guys using the NVS, through Flock wallet? And that's going to
hmm.
be the next
The
question.
big thing.
Right. And
Okay.
so it's pretty much going to market itself. But once the NVS is out, we're going to be able to reach out to businesses and say, "Hey, guess what you can do now?"
Hmm.
And go from there. And we do have quite a few people at our resource or available to us as a resource that have a lot of high end connections who can, because all it takes is getting one or two of those big companies utilizing your system and all the other companies try to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. So
Hmm.
it'll quickly fall in line, especially as people start asking them, "Hey, can I use the Flock Wallet NVS system to do XYZ, right?" And they're like, "Huh,
Hmm.
we're getting a lot of people asking about that. Maybe that's something we should look into."
Yeah. I mean, just word of mouth is going to be huge for
Right.
sure. I do think that. Do you have plans to start talking to businesses soon, or is that more of a? I guess the business side of the wallet isn't even being released just yet, so that's more of a later date type thing, huh?
Right. So the reason why we're doing the personal side first is to actually have the working demonstratable product so that
Hmm.
when we go to the businesses and say, hey, by this date, will be completed the corporate side, which will allow you to do everything you see here in addition to assigning multiple users, having the multiple authorization tiers and the accounting, all et cetera, et cetera. Right. So then they'll have something they can look at, they can see, they can test the functionality of it. They'll see people are already using it. And so it'll just make it a bit of a no brainer. Right.
Hmm.
Um, but we need to wait until we have that demonstratable product out before we can start really approaching businesses. We do have a couple of pilot partners who we discussed with and are going to be utilizing that because they are aware of what we're building. Um, and it's important to have a couple of pilot partners before you start going out and capturing other businesses because there needs to be metrics, right? You got to be able to present them with something. It's not like a DeFi project where I can just go say, hey, you want to collab? You know, it has to be
Yeah.
a, here are the metrics. Here's what we can provide your company. Here's the user base that you're missing out on, et
Hmm.
cetera, et cetera. Um, but yeah.
I really like the amount of time you guys are putting into it as well, because a lot of projects, and I'm sure Zach, I mean, you've been on some AMAs with me where projects come up. Oh, we've been developing this for a month and it's being released 2, 3 weeks from now, and I'm like, it's not very much time to come out with a product that actually,
Yeah,
is going to do what you're saying it's going to do. So
yeah.
I do love the fact that you're like, okay, quarter 4 is when we release the beta, or it was at the beta in quarter 4, or was that like
Yeah.
when you're okay? Yeah, so quarter 4 is even not even the actual product, but just the beta. So I
Well,
really like the time.
Well, it is a
Yes.
usable thing.
Hmm.
But we're referring to it as the beta because it comes out with the one proprietary feature, and then
Hmm.
the rest is mostly your standard DeFi wallet, but also has the cross-chain aggregator built into it, which, by the way, is
Hmm.
going to be cheaper to use than MetaMask swap router. Uh, So, with the ramp functionality. So like it's going to be a step up from your current DeFi wallet, but it's going to
Hmm.
have that proprietary feature as well. But we're referring to it as the beta because it's not the completed. It won't be
Yes.
completed in our eyes until we have all the updates out.
Hmm.
But
I'm
yeah,
totally with you. I do like the amount of time you guys are taking with it.
oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we started fleshing out the idea September of last year.
Hmm.
And we spent about 3 months in research before we started the process of filing for the corporation. Then we filed for the corporation. That was all completed January 24th. We had our NFT out in February, February 5th, I think it was. And then the token launched, as I said, about 2 weeks and one day ago. And Yeah, so the token, it has that 2% sell burn for the deflation. There is a small 4% buy tax, which goes strictly to marketing and development of the Flock wallet. Doesn't go into my pocket, doesn't go into Zeke's or Matt's pocket. The only way that we get paid is if we grow this corporation and this entire project to the point where we can actually list the corporation on the New York Stock Exchange. Um,
Okay.
because again, I had to buy my own tokens
Hmm.
under the same restrictions as everyone else during, pre-sale.
Yeah.
Um, and The only thing is, I have 30% equity stake in the corporation. So it's like that's the only way that we can make it big, So it's that extra incentive for us to grow to the point where we are a success.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
gotcha. That's awesome. Sorry, Zach. You can go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, first of all, I want to commend you guys on a phenomenally thought out product and project that really outbeats almost anybody else. Like you guys come in the AMA prepared and actually have this massive vision that you guys are reaching towards and actively developing, and it's actually a useful product. And yeah, it sounds phenomenal, and I'm really excited to see you guys grow and reach your goals. And the question I had is, how do you plan to integrate the P token or Parrot token into all of the different products that you guys are offering? And what does that kind of all look like?
So basically, similar to how when the corporations, when they're able to accept DeFi funds, they're not going to want to be accepting random altcoins that have high volatility, right? So between the nesting protocol, which will allow these corporations to convert part of their holdings into Parrotly's token, PBERB, and then earn fees with no risk by processing blockchain transactions. If they've got, if you're sitting there using the nesting protocol and you're getting like 10% APY or something, right? It's nothing crazy, but there's no risk involved because it's simply processing transactions. So if you've got a corporation, instead of having them sit, $2 million or whatever in a savings account over in fiat, earning 0.02% or whatever garbage percentage rate they're earning, they could just park it there with our token and earn a much higher percentage off it, right? So there's that utility. The businesses will be able to accept it as a form of payment because it is a true backed token at that point, right? Due to the deflation, burning off 50%. It'll be a lot more stable than any other altcoin. We plan on pairing it eventually to several different things, which will allow a bridge effect to occur between popular projects, a lot of different aspects of DeFi, to just kind of make it a transactional vehicle, right? And they're trying to think. No, I can't. Okay, I can't talk about that yet. So if you look at our roadmap, let's sidestep here. If you look at our roadmap, what you see publicly is about 20% of the developer roadmap. I had to cut about 80% of it out because it's not stuff I'm allowed to talk about yet, because it would either count as insider information or it would count as promise of profit, which, promise of profit fails the Howey test, and then the SEC is after me. Don't want that. So it's like we had to cut it down a lot, until we were ready to release it. So like a lot of DeFi projects, just as an example, they'll say, oh, we're going to be doing XYZ and it's going to make you guys ABC or whatnot. We can't talk about it until it's ready to go, and like we're dropping it like that day, right? Because otherwise it would count as promise of profit or insider trading. Same thing with the marketing. Like Coca-Cola doesn't send an email to everyone who drinks Coca-Cola products saying, hey, guess what? We're going to run an ad during the Super Bowl. No, you just see the ad during the Super Bowl, right? Because that's how businesses run things. They're not going to. My goal is not to hype up people who already own the token, right? My goal is to reach new eyes and bring them in. So what's the point of saying, hey, we're going to be running an ad on this website? Like we actually have 2 articles that we posted. One of them was on ambcrypto.com, which was a top 5 crypto news site, right? But we didn't tell anyone that it was going to be there. We just shared the link once it was there, but yeah. So there is a lot of utility that is being worked into the token. I'm just only allowed to talk about the nesting protocol and the fact that it's being used as a transactional vehicle for our products and services. Anything beyond that, I can't talk about yet. I'm sorry. I know that feels like a cop out, but I legitimately am not allowed to talk about it yet.
You're good. We can tell that you have a lot of stuff kind of planned out, so you're totally fine.
Yeah. I see that Jojo B said, so in essence, this project is extremely long-term thinking. The answer to that is yes. My personal roadmap for this goes out over 20 years.
Oh wow.
I have like the Flock wallet. That's just product A, right? We have a series of products that are coming with product series B. There's a product series C, and then in between B and C, because C is going to take a really long time to build. But there's a side shoot that we're going to hire an additional dev team for, that we're going to be making because we had people ask us, well, what are your plans for the metaverse, right? You're building something that's allowing businesses to integrate into DeFi. Why don't you capture that in the metaverse too? So we were like, that's a good idea. So we came up with a project that fits in between there. It's actually called Project Build a Bird. But basically, you're going to be able to construct your own birds that have genetic traits that can lay eggs that will hatch. And then there's going to be a 3D open world game that you can play either on your desktop or in VR, where your NFT is literally your avatar, right? The bird that you built, that's your avatar, and you have your own nest. Each player gets their own space in this world, where all of their birds that they're hatching and everything could be. They could sell on the marketplace there. There's also going to be like business sections, like business sectors of the world, where businesses can actually come in utilizing the currency P-Bird. Users can, then purchase like assets in game or whatnot, or skins, yada yada. But that's a whole side shoot. It's going to be a different dev team for that we hire, because my focus is on what we're building the bridge between DeFi and centralized finance.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the planning for this goes out, as I said, over 20 years. Just I'm here long term. I had someone ask me, what are you going to do if a bank comes along and says, we like this bridge that you've built, we want to buy the corporation? I told them, I'm going to tell them to go stuff it, right? Because it's not about money for me, right? I have a very specific goal. I scooped up a bunch of Bitcoin a long time ago for pretty cheap, so it's not about money for me. It's about what I'm trying to build here. I see we have a question. Sorry. I hope this does not seem like a child question, but we are looking to make profit on our money. The Flock wallet sounds amazing, and if it lives up to expectation, I'll be using it. But how will we as investors earn profits by investing in your project? That is a very good question, and no, that's not shallow, because at the end of the day, everyone is here to make money, right? Sorry, I had to take a drink. Except me, because
Dramatic pause.
Yeah, pause for effect. So no, that is a good question. So basically, let me put it to you this way. So let's say that you purchased 1 billion PBER, right? Which I believe you can get right now for not too expensive. Then understanding the fact that the token is deflationary, right? And we plan on letting at least 50% of the total circulating supply burn off through transactional volume. Now, instead of having essentially 1 billion, which is a percentage of the supply, I think it's 0.01%, something like that, 0.01% of the supply, you now have 0.02% of the supply, right? So your percentage of the supply has doubled. Now, what that means as far as token price, that's entirely dependent on the market, right? It depends on the matic and the pool, yada, yada, yada. You know how that works. We are using the quantum liquidity to increase the amount of matic in the pool, which theoretically over time will cause, that forced appreciation aspect. And when you couple that with the fact it's deflationary, that's kind of like a compounded effect, right? Instead of just being 2% of every burn, you also have the additional matic coming in. And then to earn profits on it, you would be able to utilize the nesting protocol. In addition to that, earning fees off processing transactions on the Polygon network as a delegator through the Flock wallet. There's additional things that we're going to be adding to that, but just based off the things I can talk about right now, there is the fact that your percentage of the circulating supply will increase as the token deflates, which gives you a bigger piece of the pie, right? Because if you got a pie and it's cut in all these little slices, but you're removing lines or removing slices as the supply burns off, you get a big piece of it, right? So, but there's a lot of different ways that you can play it. Is it right now a speculative play? Absolutely. And you should manage your money accordingly. Don't over leverage. Don't ape in. I'm not asking anybody to buy. I'm not asking anyone to sell. You do your own research. Whether or not you decide it's a good long-term spot to plop some money down, that's up to you. I'm just here to tell you about what we're building. And how PBER and the NFTs are going to play part of that. So, the NFTs, it's 86 matic for one, and there's still some available for mint. But that each time a company onboards into our system, they're going to be required to provide a discount to our FSC members. So over time, as the corporation grows,
interesting.
Right, exactly. So over time, as the corporation's succeeding and companies are onboarding into the Flock wallet, that list of benefits for FSD members is going to get pretty freaking big, right?
That's huge.
It's one of our sign-up requirements, and that's why Room 101 is offering the 20% standing discount on their jewelry products, right? Capricat Creations, they do they're kind of niche, or niche, or however you want to pronounce that. But they do sculptures and whatnot, and you can actually send them a picture of your Flockers Social Club NFT, and then Sorry, I got distracted by a question. And then they'll actually sculpt it for you, so you can have a real world one, right? Um, just we focus on providing real world benefits, because so many of these projects are like, oh, if you stake our coin or stake your NFT, you get another token. Woo! How exciting! Uh, so it's like we want to focus on that real world benefit, and that's what we're going towards right now. Like FSC members, they're going to have their own line of merch, for Parrotly, and like you're only going to be able to buy it as an FSC member, right? And it'll be at a discount over the standard ones. But yeah. I see we have a question saying, hello, everyone. I always see you guys discussing about new projects. That's amazing. But is there anyone in your group who knows how to read smart contracts or deciding if it's a long-term project or a scam project? Yeah, I don't think that's a question for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll answer that
But
one after the AMA is over.
yeah, that's fine. But just to remind anyone who may have joined recently, our token contract and our ICO contract were audited by InterFi both before and after deployment because, for our project at least, Parrotly Finance, safety is a huge concern of ours. Again, Zeke is ex-military, Matt's been in DevOps and cloud architecture and all that fun stuff for, decade and a half at this point. And I've been running businesses that some of them are very sensitive nature. Like when I was 18, my buddy and I, we started a wireless internet company in rural Virginia. It was a microwave point-to-point broadband high-speed internet, and so we like put up towers and whatnot, and we had our own internet service provider. So I've been in the business industry for quite a many years. But
Yeah, I like the background behind everyone. It definitely adds a level of what's the right word? What am I thinking of?
Competency.
Levels. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
definitely gives some security as far as you guys understanding what you're doing and actually being legitimately involved in this project.
yeah, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's I originally like started off investing in the stock market probably about like 12, 13 years ago, and had some success there, did pretty well, but then I moved into crypto and everything fell apart. No, I'm just kidding. um, but then I moved into crypto because I saw this emerging market, and I'm just like I bought a bunch of XLM when it was at like 3.5 cents, right? And same thing with like Bitcoin. I bought that when it was pretty cheap, Ethereum, etc. Just because I see where this is going.
Hmm.
I can see that the world wants to adopt it because right now, as a user, if I want to buy something and I've got crypto, let's say I've got PBERB, right? Right now, I would need to sell it for Matic, which is a capital gains tax event, then send that
Hmm.
Matic to the Ethereum network, which I lose a bridge fee, then send it over to Coinbase, then exchange it for US dollars, which is another capital gains tax event, transfer it to my bank account before I can buy anything, right? And that is two capital gains tax events. You got to be at least 50% in profit,
Yeah.
otherwise you're losing money,
And it
right?
takes 50, it takes like 5 hours to do.
Right, right. And it's a pain. So, I was looking at this market coming up and I'm like, there needs to be a way that users can go directly to businesses, and that brings businesses to the users.
Hmm.
And so that's what we're building.
That's really good. That is awesome. Zach, do you have any other questions?
Oh, I see one
I've
from
been
JoJo.
listening, man. This is awesome. Like you guys run it
Yeah.
like an actual business, which is something that vast majority of projects lack. And yeah, it's really refreshing to hear a project that is this well thought out and well structured. So again, I do commend you guys on that. That is awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I say since we're getting close to the hour mark, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, or because like I'll never shut up. You can keep me talking. But I'm a parrot. It's what we do. We talk. Um, So I'll take this last question I see here from Jojo B. How can you ensure safety to someone investing in your project as far as being doxed or KYC? I'm guessing as this is a legitimate business, it has more security than a more DeFi-based project. Yeah, absolutely. So all three of us founders are doxed, right? I'm Joshua Hood. I live in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. If you're ever in the area, let me know. We'll grab dinner. I don't care. Uh, we got Ezekiel, he's doxed as well. His last name is Raceless. And then you got Matthew Merrill, he's doxed. And we are actually in the process. We have an AMA scheduled with the Obsidian Council on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we're in the process of KYCing with them currently. Not because we need to, because we're already doxed. We're a registered corporation. We are the founders of the corporation. If we did something dirty, I'm not sure how, since the LPs are burnt and I had to buy my own tokens, that like I physically can't do anything bad to it, right? But if we were theoretically to do anything, then you can literally go after the corporation, and that in turn gets the government on our ass, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a lot more scared of the government than I am of someone releasing my information online, right? So,
Definitely. With everything happening with SEC recently, I totally get it.
yeah, exactly. But
Well, that is awesome. I really just for the future, I'd love to have you back on when as things continue to develop. So I just want to put that out there, just
yeah,
because there's a lot of things I know that you can't talk about just yet, but as they kind of come up, we'd love to have you back.
absolutely. When I can talk about the NVS system, and I would be happy to come back and have an AMA. It'll be a bit briefer, of course, because it's
Hmm.
about that one thing, but come back and have an AMA with you guys to share with you what that is and how it's going to affect the future of DeFi and centralized finance.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's great. You've come so much more prepared than a lot of people, so thank you. Thank you for for chatting with us for the last hour.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, like I told Zach when he messaged me, I was like, I think you'll find we're a little more organized when it comes to AMAs than most projects. But yeah, no, I
Definitely refreshing.
I appreciate you guys having us out, and giving us the opportunity to, network and chit chat with you guys.